everybody, I'm not here to waste your time. Look at this now. Look at this illustration. You'll see that they are indeed telling you there is going to be an energy crisis, regardless of a 2-week ceasefire in the Middle East and the so-called reopening partially of the Strait of Hormuz. Clip 1.
This is an oil tanker, and the thing to know about an oil tanker is that it's really, really big. 4 soccer fields long, it carries 2 or 3 million barrels of oil, and it weighs more than a skyscraper, all of which makes it slow, 10 or 15 knots. That is, no joke, the speed of a bicycle. Our global energy supply lines move at the speed of a Schwinn, and let me show you on this globe why that's important. If you biked all day, how much of this globe do you think you could cross? Like, maybe the width of the point of this pen, right? Maybe. You worked really hard. Okay, now imagine hopping on your 12 speed starting in Dubai. Where's Dubai? Here we go. Starting in Dubai. And now imagine that you have to bike out of Dubai all the way down here, down the coast of Africa, down, across the Cape of Good Hope, back up the other coast of Africa, all the way across the Atlantic, through the Caribbean, before finally arriving at the deepwater oil port in Louisiana. That would take forever on a bike, right? Which, remember, is the speed that these oil tankers go. Like, that is how our oil travels, as if it were on a bike. And maybe you see where I'm going with this.
Let's see where he's going with this. Clip 2.
This is a map of global oil flows put together by JP Morgan. Don't worry about all this text, we'll explain it in a minute. These red lines show the oil coming out of the Middle East, going out to the rest of the world. This is the stuff that's been cut off. Here it is back in December before the war. There it goes, the oil is flowing. But remember, it moves at the speed of a bunch of bicycles. So now it's January, and the oil is just finally reaching parts of Asia and Europe. And we're into February before it hits the US, and then it hits refineries in South Korea, that then sends it on down these pink lines to Australia and New Zealand. So when the war starts and the oil stops flowing, there's actually still a ton out there, taking its long, lazy little bike ride around the globe. That's a big part of why things seem weirdly normal. For most countries, the oil shutdown has not reached us yet. We're still getting shipments that were sent out before the war started. So when do those shipments stop? If you look at that map again...
Stop. Friends, and what date the war began? What date the war began? February 28. Listen now. Next clip.
Again, it says most deliveries to the US will stop around April 15th. In Europe, they stop around April 10th. Asia, April 1st, so it's just getting started. But here in parts of Africa, it was March 20th. We're already well into it. And that's even hitting places like the US, where we are still receiving oil from before the war started. Countries whose shipments ran out are creating this big surge in demand. So anytime you go to the pump or pay your power bill, you are bidding against them and they are bidding against you. And all of this is going to get significantly worse when China and Europe start running out of shipments too and surge demand to replace it, which is really close to happening.
Do you see it, my friends? Was this helpful? Come on, talk to me in the comment section. Were those 3 clips helpful to understand where we are? So that means this 2-week ceasefire, beloved, we haven't begun to feed the crunches yet. April 15. What is today's date? It's April 8. 1 week. Then you're going to see the effects. But remember, America already has oil. So they can also manufacture the oil crisis and say, whoa, the sky is falling. They can manufacture the global financial Armageddon. And then they can say, see, everything has crumbled. Now let's get the reset. And from the reset, they can roll out the digital-only payment society. All of it. They can use this to do it. Just as they tried with the pandemic, a virus, a pestilence, they can now use war. Listen.
So a ship leaves the Strait of Hormuz heading for Japan or Australia on February 27th, the day before we started this war,
Listen.
it's already arrived. There are no more ships behind it. The ships that are heading to Europe take about 45 days to come around the Cape of Good Hope, the bottom of Africa. It's a longer trip. They don't fit through the Suez Canal, the big ultra-large crude carriers. The last ships will arrive in Europe this week.
Mercy.
And after that, there's no more. This means that even if there's a miraculous deal made tonight, and ships leave the Persian Gulf tomorrow, there will be approximately a 45-day gap where there's no fuel reaching Europe.
Mercy.
This is absolutely going to, no matter what happens, this is baked in the cake.
Mercy.
No matter what happens, at the best case, the minimum case, Europe is going to be out of fuel for a month and a half to 2 months, out of fuel, which means factories will close down. They're going to have travel restrictions. They're going to do strict rationing, what they're going to call energy lockdowns. Rat on your neighbor for using a generator when he wasn't supposed to. It's going to be like COVID, but instead of biological, it's going to be energy use and economics.
Family, were these points clear to you? I hope that what you just heard, the explanation is clear. It's those in the comments section kept on writing, baked in, 45-day gap. It doesn't matter what the resolution is. From last night to this morning, you have to bake in a 45-day gap of no oil, period. And it starts this week.